Good morning, class. How we all doing?
Good morning, Miss Sizzle.
Are you guys okay?
It's so hot in here.
Really? You think it's that hot outside? Oh, I guess it is really hot outside. But guess what, class? We're going to be learning about heat waves. Okay, class, so today, like I said, we're talking about heat waves. We're going to talk about how heat waves are forming. So what happens is that the atmospheric pressure rises on high elevations, like mountains. And what happens is that when that heat gets up to a higher elevation, the more it compresses. And when that air compresses, there's more weight added onto that, which therefore, that heat tends to come down and heat up the lower elevations. Not only that, the heat waves also cause not to have any clouds. And usually we need clouds to provide that extra shade. And that's what's causing that extra heat on this land as well. And usually at nighttime, the planet usually needs to cool down so that plants and other things outside of our environment need to cool down. But since heat waves are occurring, that heat is, extending onto the nighttime as well. So we need to prevent that from happening. Yes?
It is way too hot in here. I cannot focus. I don't know what you're saying. Why?
You know what? This is one of the reasons why this happens. Usually, this heat waves actually cause production loss and not focusing a lot. Sometimes it could cause other medical problems, like heart-related problems, nausea, vomiting, and all those other kinds of problems. Okay, guys, let's go to the Magic School Bus to learn more about heat waves.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend. No way!
Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxed and feeling good. Next thing that you know, you'll see an octopus in the neighborhood, surfing on a sound wave, swinging through the stars. Take a left.
Miss Green, welcome to my farm. Do you guys have any questions?
I actually do. Why aren't there a lot of crops here?
So recently we've been having a lot of heat waves, which is caused by high atmospheric pressure, so it doesn't allow clouds to form. So that leads the plants to be under a lot of heat stress, and they're very dehydrated because so that's why we don't have a lot of crops. So I actually been here all day trying to save my crop yield, but it's been really tough on me.
She's actually suffering from a heat stroke. That's actually one of the medical conditions from a heat wave. So people outside are being affected by heat waves, and I actually have some facts for you guys to tell you about heat waves. So why is this becoming a problem? From 1975 to 2004, 1,300 individuals died annually because of the summer heat. And among farmers and those working outside, more than 1/3 of occupational heart-related deaths occur in the construction sector and 20% occur in the agriculture sector.
Now here's the real environmental issue and how it's contributing to the problem. Since the human population has been increasing over the years, we are in need of more food to feed. Farmers usually have lots of animals that are being raised at their farm. The problem is having too much livestock can cause the ground to suffer by overgrazing. The plants on those grounds suffer from the weight of those animals, causing great shifts in carbon and nitrogen cycling. The livestock made manure, which fertilizes the land, but causes warming heat waves because the manure releases carbon gases into the atmosphere, which create higher temperatures. Another problem is that our forests are being replaced by farmland. Since farmers need a lot of food to produce, they need a lot of land to grow that food. Jonathan Foley wrote a 5-step plan to feed the world, said, quote, "Trading tropical forests for farmland is one of the most destructive things we can do to our environment," end quote. We would need to increase crop yields instead of increasing crop lands. By doing this, we are saving carbon from releasing into the atmosphere. Heat waves even cause droughts as well. In Europe, they say that their crops are being affected by causing production loss. They usually grow 50% of their crops, and their wheat harvest could decrease by over 40%. Not only that, but very dry crops could start wildfires.
I really need to figure this out, and I think I have. A really easy solution would be a green roof. What's a green roof, you're probably asking? Do we spray paint the roofs green? No. That's stupid. A green roof is when you plant trees and shrubs on the roofs. Toronto, Canada's doing this. They want to get 50% of all their buildings have... I'm so dehydrated I can't even think straight. They want their 50% of their buildings to have green roofs, and it's working for them. Temperatures are dropping. Trees tend to drop temperatures of cities. This is because they produce lots of shade, but they also increase the albedo of the surface. Albedo is probably a crazy term for everybody. It was a crazy term for me until Miss Sizzle made me memorize it. Basically, the lower your albedo, the more the sun is going, the more heat is going to absorb into a surface. So something like black asphalt has an extremely high albedo, and that's why it gets so hot, whereas snow will have a very high albedo, so lots of the rays reflect and it reflects all the heat. That's why snow is cold. So trees will increase the albedo from black rooftops by having the green, which will reflect more of the light, or reflect more of the heat. Not only this, but the trees will also have something for condensation to stick to at night, so all the dew is going to stick to the leaves. Because of this, it's going to cool down because, hey, it's moist. It's moist, so it traps some, I need water. All this talk about dew is making me so thirsty. I'm sorry, I have to finish this before Miss Sizzle finds out. It provides... The dew cools everything down because, as we all know, water cools things. That's how science works. So green roofs will really help improve the temperature of a city. There are some problems with it, though. Green roofs are expensive initially. This, however, is combated in the long run. It's like buying a Tesla. They're really expensive to buy, but you're going to be saving money on gas with the Tesla. You're going to be saving money with AC with green roofs. They're also extremely heavy. That's a massive problem because, fun fact, trees have to grow in dirt. You have to put dirt on top of the roofs. This increases the weight. What Toronto's doing is they're only planting green roofs on buildings that they know can handle the load. These are the two major concerns with green roofs, and honestly, there's two pretty simple solutions to it. I believe that if we implement a green roof, then we can lower the temperature of everything, and the world will be peachy.
Hey babe, do you want to have some hamburgers tonight?
Instead, we should have veggie burgers. We should eat less beef because cows produce a greenhouse gas called methane.
Really?
Yeah, if we eat less beef, it will reduce the methane put into the atmosphere and indirectly reduce the days with extreme heat.
Alright.
I'm sure enjoying the shade this tree is providing for me on this very hot day. The other thing that this tree does on hot days is it evapotranspirates, which is when the roots take up water from the ground and transports it to the leaves, where it evaporates into the air and cools the surrounding area. We should really put more trees in this neighborhood because trees can cool streets up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to recycle so we aren't putting more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere by making new products. This is also an indirect way of reducing heat waves. I like to ride the train to work. Although this does not directly affect heat waves, it indirectly does by reducing greenhouse gases put into the atmosphere, which reduces global warming, which reduces the amount and intensity of heat waves.